guys, it's Trey Vittetoe, and today I want to talk about some things that you can do to get your songs placed with major artists. The first thing I'd like to do is dispel the idea that it is impossible to get your songs placed with a major artist unless you have some kind of inside industry contacts. No question, that is very helpful. If you want to place a song with a major record on a major record, it's great to have somebody pitching your songs. But that's not the end of the story if you don't. And I want to talk about some ways that you can get around that today. And I also want to talk about some of the expectations of the record label, A&R, and some things that you need to be aware of as you create your songs and get ready to pitch them. First of all, let's talk about A&R and the record label. I'd like to kind of set up maybe a psychology that these guys have to help you sort of see why you really do have a better chance than you may think. But I also want to deliver some bad news along with that. And I'll start with the bad news so you understand probably one of the biggest hurdles you're dealing with when you're trying to get songs on a major record. So the first thing that happens in the album making process is before any songs are written, before anybody goes into the studio, the label and the A&R people start looking for the right production team or producer to come in and either oversee the record or at least make a large portion of the record. They'll sign contracts, they negotiate deal points. Some of those deal points include a large advance on royalties, maybe how many songs are guaranteed that production team on the record. So that last point right there should raise some red flags for you, because if you know that a certain production team maybe has been guaranteed 3/4 of the record, then you know that there's not that many slots left for other people to place their songs, but there are some slots. So that's the bad news. The good news is that even when you hire a major production team, there's no rule that they're going to deliver what the record company really hopes to get. Many production teams will get hired onto records that they can work for 6 months and they can deliver 6 songs or 20 songs, and not any of them may totally knock the record label out. First of all, an A&R guy that's hired or oversees a record, it's his butt on the line when they're making a major record and a lot of money is going to go out on it. He's got to deliver. There are high expectations about what they're going to be able to work from their promotion point of view. And if everything that's been played in the meetings so far has had a lackluster reaction from the president of the label to all the other A&R people, then that A&R guy is probably coming to work every day feeling a little stressed. A&R is for sure one of the most unstable positions in the music industry. It's a great position. If you're doing well, you're a star in your own right. But if you're not doing well, you're on the way out. And A&R people are constantly moving from one label to another. One day they're in and they're big. The next day nobody cares about them. So imagine coming into your office and you've been several months on a project and nothing is really knocking anybody out. And all of a sudden an email comes across their desk and it says, "Hey, are you guys still looking for songs for da-da-da artist? I think I have something that might be great." That A&R person is going to listen, understanding that there is an A&R guy out there that could be looking for the very song you have. The next question becomes, how do you become aware of the project? When is an album being recorded? How do you know that they're actually currently in production? Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, there's definitely pitch sheets and such that you can sign up with online. There's companies that basically will pitch your songs for you for a fee. They'll actually tell you some of the specs, what they're looking for, what the sound is. But there are also some things that you can just do that are common sense. So let's say you've written a song for an artist. You believe, wow, I have the perfect song for Pink. You look on her current releases and you realize she just released a record 2 months ago. Okay, well, it's not a great time to be pitching for Pink. Now, if that record of Pink's is a year out, let's say it was a year ago, she's been on tour, there's been 2 or 3 singles released on it, we're now in good territory to be considering songs for Pink for her next record. In fact, anytime between that year mark, year since the previous release, up to 2 years, that's really when A&R people and record labels start considering what's going to happen on the next release. If you start thinking about getting your songs into an A&R person for that artist, then you're probably more on the mark. Use some common sense. Look at the last release, figure out kind of what's going on with the singles, timing of the singles. If the singles have kind of fallen off, they're not releasing much. Oh, and by the way, tour dates are a big one too. Go find the tour dates for that artist. If it looks like they're on tour for the next 6 months, not exactly prime time to be pitching for that artist. Let's talk about the song itself. If I haven't been clear about this before, let me be crystal clear. You as a songwriter, there is one choice only in the pop music world, and that is that you are writing hits. You must write absolute radio-ready hits. They're not looking to outside writers to get album tracks. The song that you deliver must be unbelievable, okay? If you're out there writing songs that your friends, your family, your spouse are telling you that they're amazing songs, it doesn't matter. You have to be talking to people that are unbiased. You need to be playing your songs for people that are going to tell you if they suck, okay? You need somebody that sort of sits in the demographic. They are immersed in the type of music that you are making for the type of artist you want to place your song with. You're probably talking about playing it for people that are 16 to 22 years old. If you're knocking somebody out in that age range, that's good news. If you've got 16 to 22-year-old friends, play it for them. And even go a step further. Ask them to play it for their friends and get opinions. I mean, if you are on the outside, you must truly make sure that your song has been given the approval, given the big thumbs up by people in that demographic that are loving it. And if those same people are coming back saying, it's okay, forget it, you don't have something. And again, just because one person doesn't like your song doesn't mean it's not a great song, doesn't mean it's not a hit. But you know what, if you've got 5, 10, 15 people and all of the opinions across the board are that this is mediocre or it sucks, move on, find a new song. Understand that every songwriter, even the biggest ones in the business, they write songs that aren't that great sometimes. So now you've got the song, you've played it for some unbiased ears, and they approve. So how are you going to demo the song? How are you going to present it to the record label? First of all, it's been known for many years that you don't just want to send a raw demo in the pop world. You do want to have something that's produced up to a point where they don't have to use just a total imagination to try to figure out how this song would actually feel and sound if it were produced up. But I think that sometimes we go overboard with that idea, with the idea that, oh, this song has to be produced in a specific certain way for a specific certain artist. I've seen songs that have come in as working in publishing. We've seen songs that were perfectly, I mean, so perfectly tuned in to a specific artist that you knew right off the bat nobody else could record it. It wouldn't make sense for another artist. And A&R would get it and go, wow, that sounds exactly like my artist, but it's kind of redundant. I've heard this song. It feels like a million other songs my artist has done. So don't produce your demo too narrowly focused on a specific artist. Remember, you may think you've got the perfect song for artist A. The A&R person may get it and say, yeah, it's good for artist A, but I think it'd be even better for artist B. So when you produce your demos, think in these terms. Look at what's happening out there on radio right now. Listen to especially those artists that are just breaking. What is the sound that they're breaking with? What's current? Think a little bit ahead of the curve. Don't make your song sound like everything else out there. So when you produce that song, remember, what are the key components that must really pop out in a great production, a great demo? You know, you want your beat to be solid, you want it to be infectious, you want the groove to feel good, and you want the vocal to be really great. It doesn't have to be the greatest singer in the world, but the singer needs to sound current. Just make sure and keep your songs in a lane that the production isn't overly artist specific, so narrow that somebody couldn't hear it for other artists that are on that label. How do you get your song into an A&R person? There are sites, there are companies that you can sign up with that will pitch your songs for you. But what if you just want to try to send your song to the record label? If you can figure out what somebody's email is, you could pretty much get something across their desk. And anybody that has worked in a company knows that there is a certain format to a company's email. One of the things that I signed up for a long time ago, there's a music magazine, trade magazine here in LA called Music Connection. And for no fee at all, I was able to sign up for their quarterly listing of music industry contacts. One period it might be music industry attorneys, another time it might be music industry managers, and they always will hit A&R. All you need is to know how that company frames their email. With Universal Music, for instance, it's umusic.com. It's probably at least 95 to 98% first name dot last name at umusic.com. You're trying to get into that artist. How can you find out who is the A&R person for that record? Go research it. Again, it's all there somewhere on the internet, right? One of the sites that I like is All Music Guide. Those guys, for every album, they'll list the credits, and more often than not, you will find that the A&R personnel are listed for the record. And so if it's Rob Stevenson at Universal Music, then you need to send your song to rob.stevenson@umusic.com. And you may think, well, nobody's going to answer my email. Go back to the beginning of my video. Remember what I said about the A&R psychology. The guy that's sitting at his desk, and it's been several months down the line on a project, and he still doesn't have the hit songs, and his boss is breathing down his neck. Everybody's unhappy with the way the record's turning out, and he just needs a song for X artist, and you've got it, and it comes across his desk. And let me tell you what, he will listen. By the way, don't send these guys MP3s. A lot of people hate having their inbox full of MP3s. So send them a link, a SoundCloud link or something like that. It needs to be a song that just kills them. But wow, if it does, they'll be right back at you going, hey, this is a great song. Thank you for sending it. If you send it to 10 A&R guys, you're not going to get 10 responses. But if you get it out to enough people, you may get 1 or 2 responses. There's your key right there. Get through the no's, get through the indifference, and then get to the point where you hit somebody that needs the song. Persistence in any game is always the key. All right, you guys, so I hope you found this information useful today. And if there's questions you have, please include them in the comments below and I'll respond. You guys have a great day, and please like and subscribe. Until next time.